am Jerry Jones, Provost and Vice President for Academic Affairs, and it is my great pleasure to introduce this morning's guest speaker. Dr. John France is the world's foremost historian of the military aspect of the Crusades. He taught medieval history at the University of Wales-Swansea in the United Kingdom from 1966 until his retirement in 2007. He also served as Dean of the Faculty of Arts and Sciences Studies, Arts and Social Science Studies, between 2002 and 2007. Dr. France is the author of numerous books and articles, including Victory in the East, a military history of the First Crusade, the Crusades and the expansion of the Catholic Christendom from 1000 to 1714, medieval warfare, 1000 to 1300, and Western warfare in the age of the Crusades, 1000 to 1300. He is also co-author of How to Win on the Battlefield, published just this year. Professor France has appeared in numerous TV programs for various channels, including the BBC and the History Channel. He has assisted with the archaeological fieldwork from near Jerusalem and carried out translations of significant medieval text. He has conducted additional research in Italy, France, Syria, Jordan, Lebanon, and Israel. Dr. France was a Livrium Fellow in 1999 to 2000 and received a Livrium Emeriti Fellowship in 2008-2009. He is truly a man of many talents, and we are honored to have him here with us today. Dr. France will be opening this three-day exploration of medieval history for us by discussing the place of medieval military history in the wider scheme of general history. And he will be explaining to us why, contrary to what some people have thought, there really is such a thing of medieval military history and why it matters. Please join me in giving Dr. France a warm California welcome.
Can I just begin by thanking Provost and Paul Corker for doing the honour of asking me here and say what a pleasure it is to be on this very lovely campus and very fortunately on a very lovely day indeed. So many thanks, and I'm sure we're going to enjoy ourselves, the visitors here, and I hope make a contribution to the life of the campus. Now, what is medieval military history and why does it matter? A little while ago, I was on a Sunday walk. I should say that I regularly walk on a Sunday, and we tend to do sort of 10 or 12-mile walks. It's a walking club. And I got into conversation with a retired engineer. And he asked me what I did for a living. And I explained to him that I was a historian, that I specialized in medieval military history, that I taught medieval military history, that I write books, and that I travel a lot looking at battlefields and castles and roads and various boring things like this. And at the end of this, he listened to what I had to say, and he said, well, it's better than working for a living. Now this is the sort of abrasive encounter that makes you think about what you're doing and why you're doing it. And I suppose you can respond to it at a number of levels. The high-minded response is that the past matters, and that it's necessary that people look at it dispassionately and professionally, otherwise we will all be ignorant or badly informed. And that medieval military history takes its part as within the general scope of history. But it's a somewhat pompous and general response. It makes me feel like a balloon which somebody is going to deflate with a sharp object. Alternatively, you could be severely subjective. I like medieval military history and somebody is willing to pay me to do it. That's perhaps an over-truthful approach, and it is likely to lead to further questions like, why the hell should anybody pay you? And in Britain, especially not me, the taxpayer, is likely to be the next line. I think what is needed is a rather more detailed, specific and directed reply. And it's to this that I'm going to address myself. But of course, this is my response, my ideas only. I just hope that it will evoke some interested discussion. Now, in almost any bookstore, one of the largest sections is almost always military history. I suspect much of the readership is male, an illustration of that atavistic sentiment remarked on by Dr. Samuel Johnson on the 10th of April 1778. Every man thinks meanly of himself for not having been a soldier or not having been at sea. I'm not sure that is altogether true, but I think there is that very strong feeling amongst men, in fact, that somehow a soldier has experienced something that the rest of us have missed. Now, reading military history produces a large number of reactions amongst the people who do it. A very common one is the reaction of the anorak. I was once sitting at my desk in the university one morning, about 9 AM in the morning, when the phone rang. With absolutely no preliminary, didn't even ask my name, a voice at the other end said, "What is the hitting power and range of a Turkish archer's bow?" Absolutely cold cock at 9 AM in the morning when I'm not sitting at my desk. I gave him an answer. I happened to have a piece of paper with it written on me in front of me. I received a brief thanks, thank you, he put the phone down, and to this day I have no idea who it was or why the information was wanted. Anoraks is a British phrase, a word to describe people who are obsessed with the outward events and particularly the hardware of war, or indeed any other subject, but in this context particularly war. When and how was the left sprocket on Panzer Mark III uprated? I actually have seen a serious, long online discussion of precisely that subject. What are the differences between grenadier and driver shoulder flashes in SS Panzer Das Reich? Many people who become obsessed with these outward appearances and detail are more reflective and become very interested in particular events. The first time I went to Gettysburg, it seemed that the museum was full of little groups of men, almost always clad in grey, all proclaiming like a mantra, "If only Pickett," and so on and so on. This is one reaction to medieval military history. More worrying are those rather scary people who focus on volumes like how SS Panzer XII killed its way through World War II, but I'm not going to deal with those. Now, obviously, other people react in very different ways. The anorak is a specialist creature. All military historians, like me, are in part anoraks. I am obsessed by castles. Castles are what I spend my life going to. I have a granddaughter of 4, and she already knows what Crackling Chevalier looks like, and she can distinguish it from most other castles.